Well, hello, everybody. How is people doing today? Hope everybody can hear me okay. Hello from Australia. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Sandra, hello, Ellen. How are you? Good to see you guys. Jane doesn't. I'm so glad you're here for the very first time. I just wanted to drop in and say hey to everybody. I've been traveling a little bit, and so I haven't been watching the trial 100% of the time. I don't know. It's like, what is this, like 20 days live or something like that every day. So unfortunately, I can't park and watch all of that like some of my other YouTube people on here. But I just wanted to jump on there. Oh, Jane. Hey, Jane, you're from Utah. And just answer any questions you guys may have, and then talk about a little bit of the trial and what you guys think. So this is a full Q&A for you guys. I will try to answer anything forensically that I can. I'm not an attorney, obviously. We got Orlando here. Boy, it's Orlando. What time is it there? 8 o'clock in Orlando. Well, welcome, Mary. And then just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about on this case, because Delva, you're from Oregon. I'm from Oregon too. And I live in Las Vegas now. But so, hey, welcome, everybody. So I wanted to talk about, to see what you guys thought so far on whatever you've watched and whatever news coverage you've watched, and where you what you think if he's guilty or not guilty so far, and what you are thinking, and basically what that is, what your opinions are on that, because there's been some bombshells dropped in the last 2 or 3 days. I don't know if you saw Alec testify, but that was a pretty big testimony here. He got right on there and just said, "I'm a liar." And I knew that was kind of that was going to come down the pike. Nadia, I've kept myself from everything Murdaugh. I want to see it from the jury perspective. It's been interesting. Yeah, it's been totally interesting from that aspect. I mean, the jury obviously is seeing everything, and we're not seeing everything as far as the graphic stuff that people don't really need to see. But I know that Nadia, you're keeping an open mind on all this kind of stuff, and you're watching it like a juror. And I think that's important in this case. They have a lot of things they're going to do in order to bring to the table. So Ellen says, I don't think Alex did it, but I think he knows who did. Just your opinion. I think a lot, that's what the jury's, I think, leading to right now, is that they're trying to now say there's a second shooter. They're trying to present all this other kind of evidence. The forensic guys today talked about, the guy was shot in the top of the head. Paul was shot in the top of the head, and the compression forced everything back up. And that's how you're getting the tissues and the rounds and the pellets in the wood. That's a whole different thing they're trying to say. So that was very interesting to think. Jane, you don't think he's the trigger man? Okay. That they're trying to definitely prove that he wasn't the trigger man. Ellen, I don't think he did it, but I know he did. Yep. Heidi from Texas. The jury will see through his narcissistic traits and smug attitude. Yeah, I think, he was hosed. I mean, I like the way that Waters came right at him and said, on the story today that you've never told previously on anything, so your news story today, before yesterday, before hearing everything, is now that you were at the kennels. So he's really painting him out to be a liar, so much so that why should the jury even believe him? I don't know if you guys can see my Central Perk cup here, but I'm a Friends fan too. So don't try to challenge me on Friends trivia, because I might have to go at you. How credible can Alex be as an addict? Yeah, these guys, I used to work with people, and I would talk to people all the time when I was working the street, that you never knew they were on drugs. They just acted like a normal person. So he'd been doing it all his life. He knew how to operate. He knew how to drive. He knew how to do all of these things if he's under the influence. So, yeah, Beach Bry, addicts can be credible. For sure they can be. Yeah, they'll bring the rebuttal witness today. I think tomorrow, the state is going to bring in 4 to 5 witnesses, rebuttal witnesses. They may put some of their repeat forensics guys on the stand to talk about things. maybe Kinsey, the Dr. Kinsey that first testified first. So who knows what kind of witnesses are going to bring. I think, and Nadia, I think the prosecution has proved he is a bad guy, but I don't know if they've proven he's a murderer of his own wife and son. Yeah, it's very tough without a murder weapon. It's very tough. I mean, there's so much circumstantial things against him. Everything he said he's lied about, from the driving to the cell phone to the when he pitched the phone out on the, or whoever pitched the phone out on the road, the car, his vehicle was going 45. Then at that time, it speeds up to 80 miles an hour along this dark, windy, deer-infested road to get to the house. And then at some point, 80 miles an hour back to the house. That doesn't make any sense, especially when they compared it to previous days where he'd driven that road that he had telemetry data for, that his average speed was 47 miles an hour. But it just so happens that right after that, he's up to 80 and 80 back. So it doesn't look good. Those things don't look good. Do I think John Marvin's testimony had any weight? Caprice, is John Marvin, you have to refresh my memory about him. Michelle, his brother dodged the question about cooperative with law enforcement. Yeah, he did dodge that a little bit. I caught a little bit about that. They said they were fully 100%. He would have given him anything, but I don't know what he was alluding to. Alan said, I think it might go to the jury Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, they may. What's today? Today's, I don't even know what today is. Monday? Something like that. So, yeah, I mean, if they go 4 or 5 witnesses tomorrow, take all day, half day, the jury's going to go out to the scene. That's probably going to be Wednesday. I mean, if they rest tomorrow and the jury goes out Wednesday, they may start deliberating on Wednesday. Caprice said she agrees with lawyer. Guilty, 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 and guilty. This guy, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, if you didn't do anything like that, why so many lies? I wasn't there. I wasn't here. I changed clothes. No one asked me. I must have taken a shower. The whole story changed when Paul's video came out, right? None of that in any interviews came out. So if you're so innocent and you just tell them exactly what happened, why hide it so much? It doesn't look good for him in the circumstantial case, right, Laura? It could be enough to convict. It could be enough to convict. If the jury just thinks, there's not one thing this guy's done in the last 10 years that has been honest to anybody. Family, paraplegic girls that he ripped off money from, his 20-year housekeeper that fell down the stairs and is now took the money from her son. So this guy's just a bad dude, but they got to get over that. Caprice thinks they'll get a hung jury. All it takes is one, right? Just takes one. MB replaces to that, right? John Marvin. Okay, Della. John Marvin's the older brother. All right, that makes sense. I don't know if he helped at all. I think it was just more of and I didn't watch all of his testimony, so I apologize. But the stuff that I did see, it didn't seem like, most of it was just reiterating what had already been said. Sandy, calling it out. I don't think Alex is guilty of this murder. Sandy also thinks it's going to be a hung jury. Ashley, I must say, looking from perspective as someone not living in the U.S., I do find your police sector scary and no doubt lots of fraud in protecting their own associates. I hate to say it, being from 25 years in law enforcement, there were some things that they missed and probably could have done better and wrapped up a lot better. And there are other expert witness from the defense today really called out a lot of stuff that he would have done that he or she would not have done. Listen, this job is a learning process. I mean, it's the longer you're in it, the more you learn, the more trials you watch, the more you learn. I mean, it's a very tough job to hit all of the boxes, and then people have a year to prepare and try to beat you up on the stand. I've been beat up on the stand. They try to attack me on everything because it's all about the investigation that you did, right, and not so much about the evidence. But They have two boats. They're going against the police and they're going against all the circumstantial stuff. But yeah, Michelle. Oh, you're talking about why did he ask me times if they were actually dead? That doesn't make any sense. If your son, part of his head is missing, I think that's implied that he's dead. And then I think later on in the police video or the body cam, he asked, did they verify? Did they check him? So that doesn't make any sense. I agree. Music is magic. Hi from Colorado. Awesome. You're not too far from me. I'm in Vegas. What's Lisa say? I think he's guilty, but I was hoping the prosecution had more evidence. So if I were jury based on what I presented, I have to say he wasn't. I mean, they got a lot of the digital evidence, right? That's a lot of what they have. The car, the truck, the movements. You know, what gets me to, Lisa, is even though they don't have the murder weapon, they don't have the gun, they don't have those things. They have casings that are from the weapon. They're from a Murdaugh weapon. It's been fired on the range. Those casings are, but now the gun's missing. And as Alex said yesterday, well, I think I got two, but I think I got three, and then I lost one, but I didn't report it, and then I think I replaced it, but now it's missing. I mean, all of those things don't help him out at all, which confused the jury. Why would you think all of those things? And then a lot of the digital evidence as well with the car didn't to help him. Like when he pulls into his mother's house, there's 1 minute where he's fully stopped along a tree line. Now you're thinking in your mind, I pull up to a tree line, I maybe pass off my clothes, my weapon, whatever else I want to pass off. I'm stopped there for a minute, but he says, you know, my cell phone dropped out of my hand. It dropped in between my seat and the console. So it took me a minute to get out of, you know, all that kind of stuff. So he's been prepped. You can tell 100% they've been prepped. That's what they do. We as officers get prepped by the prosecutors on what questions they may ask and go over our report, make sure we understand it. So both sides are prepped, but he's had a long, long time to prep. Okay, Sandy, I think people don't give Alex a chance. He's a despicable character, and I don't think he did this, so I vote not guilty. Okay, Sandy. He is a very despicable character. He's not good. Janice thinks he's involved. I think he's involved too. Music is magic. I think it will be hung. All right, hung jury. Just takes one, right? Just takes one. Caprice, I feel like if he didn't pull the trigger, he knows who did. If not, then why lie? 100%. I think he knows something, whether he pulled the trigger or not. I think he knows something. The clothes, you know, where the clothes he wore, he's got an excuse for that, right? Sandy, yep, she agrees that. Never found the two guns, the blue shirt and the shoe in the tree video. I know, you know, and here's the problem too. And they say, I mean, even law enforcement said, would you ask him for it? Well, no. Did he ever ask you for the clothes? No. I mean, that was a swing and a miss for them to ask that. And I don't know, maybe you guys can answer this question because I don't know if I heard it anywhere. But when they were first initially questioning, are these the clothes you've been wearing all day? Have you changed clothes at all? Did you take a shower at all today? They didn't know all of this because they didn't have the video. But I'll tell this, and any law enforcement officers that are watching, this is a good training issue. This is a good training thing. Those series of questions to ask to lock them in early on is a great thing to do. Thanks for all the likes, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the thumbs up. And I really appreciate that. I see them flipping up here, so that's really cool. Let's see. Hey, Aaron. When Alex was saying that he asked his wife to stay even before she left was a scary moment. Gave me chills. Yeah. Yeah, and I think, you know, that went back and forth a little bit. I believe that she was just going to go there because she was concerned about him, but then there was messages that he said he wanted her to come over. And, you know, you think about why all the extracts from, thanks for the likes, guys, all the extracts from his phone. So when they pull the Verizon data, they have everything. But when the law enforcement pulls the phone, it has all these deleted text messages. So if you're not involved, if you're not guilty, you're not a suspect, why are you on the day you send out 40-something text messages, swipe left and delete them all? Why? For what reason do you do that? Doesn't look good for that. He did lie about why Maggie was there, for sure, Michelle. Um, no, Caprice, I did not see a video on YouTube about the prostitute. Wow, I did not see that. All right, James. I believe he was paranoid, knowing all the dirty things that had gone bad. Yeah, I would imagine that you would think the worst of Ellie, etc. Do I think he is innocent? No, but I don't think he pulled the trigger. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going against Alec. A lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. That now his story's changed, right? If you're innocent, your loved one has been murdered. It's easy to tell the truth because the truth is the truth. You never get backed into a corner. He's backed so much into a corner, and he's lied so much. You don't know what the truth is. I don't know. Yeah, Caprice agrees. Caroline, yeah. I think his paranoia is fear of losing his drug supply was his motive. You know, Cousin Eddie, right? He's the one that supplied him with all the drugs. I mean, here you have Cousin Eddie saying he called me and wants me to kill him. So the guy's just not mentally good. All right, Nadia. My question is why? If he did it, please, why? Why those two specifically? I have some theories, but I'm curious yours and everyone else's. Yeah, everybody drop the thumbs up, drop the likes, and drop your reason you think he did it. For me, hang on one second. I'll answer that question. Thank you so much for the super chat, HCDATB, and put your last name in there too, or your first name, so I know what your first name is. So I really appreciate it. Ellie shouldn't have waited to learn. Let me go pull that back up. Ellie shouldn't have waited to learn more on what could be the motive. Their current theory makes no sense. Am I missing something? Yeah. The motive they're trying to say is because he was so bad and so far in debt that he didn't know a way out. Now, you live with your wife who knows pretty much everything about you, your passwords, your phone, things that are going on. She's finding drugs. Now she's finding all this other stuff. Your son Paul's been in trouble. He's not a good kid, getting in trouble all the time. I don't know. Maybe they knew more. Maybe they knew something that he didn't, and he's thinking there's two witnesses that know everything. Buster doesn't know anything because they didn't live here, but they know everything because they live here. They hear it. They see it. So if I get rid of them, I'll get sympathy, and now they can't testify against me. I don't know. I mean, I think that's what the prosecution is trying to do. So Nadia, I don't know if that's what the motive is. That they're witnesses. They know too much, and how you get from A to Z is hard to understand, but let me tell you a story. One of my best friends in law enforcement, we started out together in a small coastal town. A couple of years later, we both lateral over to a sheriff's office. Our families, our kids grew up together. And one night, they got separated. They were kind of going through some problems. And one night, he goes up to the bar where she's at with her 3 girlfriends and walks into the bar with his service pistol and shoots all 3 of the friends in the head, takes his wife out back, shoots her in the head, and then shoots himself and leaves the kids at home, the 3 kids at home. I was just working with him at the sergeant's office. He has a desk right next to mine. So how do you go from there to there? I've seen it, and no indication at all. This is his wife and her 3 innocent friends. I mean, he didn't do his kids, but now they're without a mother and so on and so forth. So the mind is crazy. I mean, Kelly Pickler's husband just killed himself. A singer-songwriter that had the Kelly Pickler show. It's crazy how people just go sideways. So I've seen it. This may be another instance that he does that. All right, let's keep going. Again, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. It helps me pay for the case files that I get. You guys, this is crazy. I got a case file that I had to get reports for. I just got it whittled down. But the initial report, and I was involved in this case, and I'm going to talk about it on my channel, was $850 for the case file. The pictures in the report. $850. I said no. And I had it pared down. But People are crazy anymore. All right. Let's go with Trina. Thought this was a totally though this is a totally different crime than the Idaho murders, comparing some of the evidence, how do you think the prosecution in Idaho will fare? The Idaho murders. They've been so tight-lipped on that. All you can see is from the external. I just hope they did a good job on the internal. I really, really do. I mean, they were a little bit more protected because they were inside, so they were protected from the weather. So I think they had more time on their hands. Out here, the Murdaughs are outside. It's raining on and off. It's misting. Water's pouring on Paul. They're trying to cover him up. People are, law enforcement body cams are all stepping in the scene. Really, there should have been a sergeant there. I mean, my job was always to protect the scene. So it's if the guy is deceased, everybody back out. Now you have a couple of shooters, right? So I don't mind you going the perimeters, doing a pie around, make sure there's nobody in there, but then taking the edges and securing the scene, getting K9 out, make sure the shooter's not still there, and that law enforcement doesn't get shot in the process. So I'm all about the officer safety part of it. And if he's already deceased, no reason to even be near him and clear what you can clear. So they're really pounding him on that he stepped all over. So I hope Trina, I really hope that they're doing a good job in the Idaho case and doing a bang up job. Sandy, yep, he thinks he's despicable, but doesn't think he's a murderer. Yeah, we're gonna find out what 12 people think, right? Miranda, he was about to be exposed. Didn't want his family knowing everything. Plus, rich people can't handle becoming poor. No, he has. I think the prosecution really hounded him on that. Like, you have this notoriety, you're this big man, you're walking around with a badge. I mean, he had a badge walking in and out of places. Blue lights on his car as a prosecutor. That just doesn't happen. He thinks he's above the law, but then again, he says, "I never thought I was a police officer." That's bullshit. You shouldn't have those lights on there, and you shouldn't have a badge like that flopping it around. So yeah, he's a narcissist as well. So that's why I think he got on the stand thinking he can still beat this stuff. All right, it's a tough position to be a juror. There's definitely circumstantial evidence, but beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't know either. Listen, this walkthrough they're going to do of the crime scene. When I was working forensics with another team and traveling around the country, we would actually go to the scene as well. And, cameras, depending on what lens you have on there, if you have a 16 to 35 wide angle lens, that place looks huge, right? I'm a professional photographer as well, and I shot weddings for years, and I shot portraits and headshots and seniors and all these kind of things, right? All about lens choice and what the perspective you want to look at it. So these pictures that they're seeing, if they're shot with wide, it looks like this is a huge place. I guarantee when they get out there, they're going to say, wow, this space is super, super small and confined. Like, I can barely get my shoulders in here, right? They're going to get a really good perspective, and that's what the defense is really wanting. And you're going to call me out right now. Johnny, what do you think? Hung, guilty, or innocent? I'm going to wait on that. Listen, I did a video a while back. I think I did it, about a month ago, on the evidence of the shirt that apparently had high velocity blood spatter on it, right? And it kind of got screwed up in the process. It's on my channel if you want to check that out. But I go over everything about this shirt. So initially I'm thinking, if that's the shirt and law enforcement didn't do a good job in handling it and some procedures were not done correctly and it ruined that piece of evidence, but it was actually on there, then I'm like, yeah, he's the guy. I think he is involved 100%. I think he's involved. Is he the trigger man? I don't know. I don't really know. Because the reconstruction that was done, which is another thing, man, they did a total station. They did a Faro, and a Faro's a LiDAR scanner, right? I was certified on one of those, and my team, we'd use that all the time. The problem is when you shoot all that, you get millions and millions of data points. You put them on a thumb drive or a CD, and you put them in a file, just in case. So you have all the data points. I didn't see them bring this out and do any kind of analysis on it like this defense expert did, because he went out and shot it, but it wasn't the night of the murders, but he's trying to do the best he can, put markers back and so on and so forth. And he's doing angles and trajectories and those kind of things. So I wish law enforcement would have done that. They definitely have the tools and the ability to do that. I'm not sure why that wasn't done. So that was a little bit of a swing, I think, on that. So I'm, Monica, if you did it, what's the motive? Well, I think the prosecution is trying to say the motive is he was just so much in debt and everything was coming down on him. Maybe his wife and son knew too much, and that therefore they can't take the stand if that happens. So eliminate that threat. Now I get some sympathy on that. Maybe take a little heat off the financial stuff. I think that's what the prosecution is trying to prove. Hi, Aaron. Nice to see you again. Nice to see you. You're commenting on here too. So good to see you guys. Ashley, sounds to me like it was premeditated. His wife was lured. I mean, this thing, it was pretty planned out, right? I mean, you're talking about a guy. Hey, Mark, thanks so much for being here, brother. Appreciate you. Here's the thing, guys. He was pretty strategic. I think he's involved in this 100%. So here's an attorney that's always on his phone, but you know what? When he goes down to the kennel for Maggie, he leaves his phone to not show him at the kennel at the time, right? However, Paul, his murdered son, hadn't planned on from the grave, putting a whole wrench into this thing. So you leave your phone there. Well, you probably never leave your phone. Who are you going to go to the store or walk down the street or go on a run and don't take your phone in case of an emergency, right? He says, oh, there's bad reception down there. Except 911 call was fine. You got out fine and dandy on a 911 call. But you leave your phone. Then you go to the kennel to show that you're not at the kennel. So there's a lot of bad things. A lot of bad things going on. Yeah. And Beach Bree, yeah, a lawyer should know not to delete messages. But listen, this guy was a deal maker, right? Thanks for the likes, guys. I see him coming up there. I appreciate that. This guy's a deal maker, right? So he would get these things dismissed before they even went to trial. He'd work a deal. Let's get a plea bargain. So he's a wheeler and dealer and a talker and a mover and a shaker and gets settlements. So he's not going to trial every week and doing those kind of things. So Beach Bree, thought maybe he could get away with a deleted message or never go that far. But come on, dude, that's just stupid. Music Magic, just be clear. I believe Alex is thoroughly involved and a despicable person. I just don't think they reached reasonable doubt. I mean, just one juror, it's what it's going to take. Just say, I don't think he did it. Caprice, I really appreciate you being here. Welcome. I'm glad you're a value subscriber. I'm going to call you a law dog now because you're a subscriber. And I appreciate you being here. All right, Miranda's got it going on right here. Yeah, she's like, she's telling him too many motives: loss of power, loss of wealth, embarrassment, pending lawsuits. All of the above. And the drugs too, Sandra, could have made him paranoid. Yeah, hooker video? I'm going to have to look that up. I'll have to search that. Hooker video Murdaugh, I guess. Sandra's like, hooker video? Yeah. All right, Sandy, I feel Alex is grieving for the loss of Paul. Maggie, I tend to believe Alex didn't kill them. Yeah. Well, Ellen, since he admitted to the financial crime, everything now is public record. So I think he figured, hey, the jig is up. This is a done deal. So I'm just going to roll over on these financial crimes. So I think that's just what's going to happen there. So Alex is about self-preservation, 100%. Thank you so much for the likes, guys. Appreciate it. Oh, Caprice, super chat. Thank you so much, Caprice. Really appreciate that. I really appreciate you being here. Really. Helps pay for the police reports I'm getting for you guys to analyze and do on my channel. All right, let's see. Name is Gerald. I made this username. Oh, okay. Gerald. Gotcha. 12 years ago, and it always backfires. Haha. All right, Gerald. It's better than HTDTABT. So, Gerald, I'll try to remember that. I appreciate you. Yes, hidden. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Aaron thinks, I think Paul could have taken his drugs after dinner that night, and Alex snapped. He wasn't going to the kennels, but then he did. you know what? Here's the thing too, Aaron. That's what he says. That's what he says. I don't believe a damn thing he says. I really don't. Hey, thanks, Sandy. I appreciate you too. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm catching up, guys. You're trying to catch up. Yes, Alan Wright, Kelly Pickler. I was so sad. I remember watching that show. I'm a country music guy, right? I used to, I play guitar and sing and that kind of stuff. So I'm a country guy. And when that show came out, I really loved it. So that's too bad about her husband. I think he did it. The prosecutor hasn't proven it. Holding out for a smoking gun. It's all circumstantial, but you can win a case on circumstantial for sure. You can win a case on no dead body too, with a lot of evidence. So we're definitely gonna find out. Okay. I think Maggie figured out his finances if you're divorce. He was hoping that killing Paul and Maggie would end the civil suit and get him access to her estate. And in the civil suit, motive, right? Motive. That's what they're trying to prove. If it's not, okay, let's put it this way. If it's not Alex, who is it? The mass marauders, the people for the boat crash are going after Paul and his wife. Then it was drug dealers. Then it was the Sinaloa and Cowboys. What motive for another killer to kill the wife? Paul. Paul got in a boat crash and killed a innocent female, and he was gonna go to trial and pay for that for sure, because that's his mistake and that's the reason that she's dead 100%. So why go after him? I can't see one of her family members doing that. So I don't know. Michelle losing his job, career, family name, money, Paul going to jail, Maggie leaving him. All of those, Michelle, I agree. All of those could be contributing factors for sure. Johnny, I call that instant rage. Example, OJ busting out a knife and killing 2 people in a short time. Yeah. And look what happened with OJ. Look what happened with OJ, right? The glove didn't fit. You must have quit. They went after the police for weeks about the investigation part of it. That's where the jury hung himself on. Yeah, Sanders had experience with that with people with painkillers. I had there was a deputy that worked in our office. He got hooked on OxyContin, and we actually went to high school together. And it got so bad, guys, that I guess his house had feces in it and stuff. I mean, he just started getting he was a wreck. He actually did robberies of a pharmacy. He would call in sick from work, and then he would go do a robbery at a pharmacy with his duty weapon, right? I mean, when he wouldn't even cover his face. And at roll call, somebody says, dude, that guy looks like you. And they all start laughing around the roll call table. And it was actually him. And our detectives got him, and he went to jail, federal prison for that. So yeah, it's a bad deal. All right. Yes, that girl. So many people around this case. Yeah, he was going down. All right, Stardust. Hi, Johnny. Question about collecting evidence in the murder case. When collecting a cell phone from a deceased person, if the phone rings, are they supposed to answer it? Stardust, no. That's a great question. That was one of the challenges. We had these bags that prevent cell service from going out, right? So, we used them on any kind of evidence that we seized. You take the cell phone, you put it in this bag, and you seal it. Therefore, if somebody goes to find my phone, they can't get in, wipe messages off. It's basically a dead zone. In this case, law enforcement didn't do that. But no, they would not answer it. But they would put it in this bag and then try to get it down to a place where they could power it up later on, and get access to it at that point. But they would put it in a protected bag for sure. But that's a great question. Judge was not right to have a jury vote for premature deliberation. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think about this judge. I don't know. Seems like he's taking his time, pretty methodical, but he's trying not to get number one, a mistrial, and number two, an appeal. So I think that was one of the reasons he's letting the jury go out, was to prevent him from an appeal process. Thanks for the likes, guys. Appreciate it. 76. Awesome. All right. The guy was there 2 minutes before the time the phones were silent and admitted there was no one else around the property. Circumstantial fine, but also lied. It's so damning. Yeah, 100%, Aaron. I mean, he's 100%. Not only that, Aaron, it's like there was an orientation change, right? So imagine, if you will, Paul makes a call and an orientation change 2 seconds later on Maggie's phone to a incoming call. 2 seconds. There's like, isn't that a coincidence? I mean, we're talking 2 seconds from the time he calls to an orientation change on Maggie's phone. I mean, come on. Good thing. Good comment, Aaron. There was no one there. The dogs didn't know. I know, right? Caprice, when he said that, like, no, there was no one else there that they didn't know. It's like, perfect. Then you were the only one there. Now, and I know today they're trying to go on time of death, and they get, their first witness they get with a guy with the armpits. So I tell time of death by putting my arms under their armpits. I mean, I don't know, but they got that guy at. But that's not how you tell time of death. So he admitted to financial. Will they even go to trial for them? Yeah, absolutely, geez. They will go to trial for that, and they'll use all of this against him. He'll probably just plead. There probably won't be a trial. He's not going to plead not guilty to these. He'll just go, yeah, I'll take a plea deal. If he gets found not guilty because of a mistrial, they're going to go right on the financials, and he'll take a plea deal and maybe get 15, 20 years out of that probably. All right, JMCQ, there are several things pointing at Alec and the perpetrator, yet there are several things that don't point to him doing it. It's tough. If they're a jury, there is reasonable doubt. If I were a juror, there'd be a reasonable doubt. Yeah, there's a lot of things pointing at him and a lot of things not. I mean, this reconstructionist that came in and did the 3D diagram with the trajectories and stuff, saying the guy was 5'2", so on and so forth. I mean, they could have headed that off with law enforcement doing some kind of analysis on that from the get. But the guys apparently took the measurements off of what the investigators did with their angles. So there's some things that, and then I heard today that, well, if he's in a golf cart, I think even my wife said if he's in a golf cart, now he's sitting down low to the ground. Could that be, 5'2"? You roll up, bang, 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 and then you roll around the corner and you're shooting at those angles. So that was even something that came up. Yes, he has, Sandra. He's seen a lot and heard a lot about cases. So, yep, Aaron, I agree. I think he'll plea deal all that out. He's already rolled over and all that. He said it 100 times. Yes, I admit I stole, I lied, I stole. The blue rain jacket. Let's talk about that, Mark. Let's talk about the blue rain jacket. Holds a lot of answers, which caretaker test didn't hold water. Yeah, the blue rain jacket had GSR on the inside. Why have a GSR on the inside of a rain jacket? It doesn't make sense unless you're putting something inside of it and rolling it up, right? Even if you're out shooting, you get GSR on the outside. I know there's been a lot of testimony on that, but there's just too many things that point to that, right? She says he came in holding something blue, and they find something blue and it's got GSR in it. But now they bring a tarp from Home Depot. That's what the defense is supposed to do. They don't have to win this case. The defense doesn't have to present anything that he's innocent. It's all on the state. 100% on the state to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Defense doesn't have to prove anything. Just doubt is all they have to have for somebody. And that's what they're doing, casting doubt. Blue in the blue tarp, so on and so forth. All right, Gerald, I think we are all in agreement. We seem to think he's involved, but there may be something we don't know that's missing from the state's case. I'm not far from you. Adela, yeah. I did them so bad, it makes me feel he's guilty. Yeah. I mean, I know they slowed that down to like a tenth of the speed. And I think even his brother, I think I caught a little bit of that. His brother says, no, he said they did him so bad. And he said it before, and I've heard him say it afterwards, I believe. So now they're even bringing the brother in to talk about that statement. What's up, Steve-O? This is Steve from U-Turn 180, Traffic Safety Guru. Him and I worked together for several years up in Oregon. A hell of a guy right there. Vote. Okay, never, Sandra, do two. The financial award for the boat crash final. I'm confused. Mark, I'm not really sure. I don't think that one is final yet. That's civil case. I don't know. Oh, Debbie throws in, I think Paul had something on him and he became outraged. Okay. I think so. I mean, he definitely could be. Oh, yeah. Sanders' 911 call was perfect. Yeah. I think he had a long time to play this out. 84 likes, guys. We'll get to 100, I'm sure. We got some more people jumping on here. Oh, okay. Well, Luminous Grin. I'm not surprised investigation involving the murders got mucked up. Alex was the boss hog of the area. Luminous Grin. That is a good analogy from the Dukes of Hazzard to say he was the boss hog. I don't think law enforcement intentionally did anything. There's, I've worked with so many professionals out there. They're just trying to do the best job they can. And man, a lot of them are young. It's a lot of the other older guys that have been doing it for a long, long time and have experienced this and made mistakes in the past when they're younger. They're all retiring out, right? So listen, you may have somebody that's working patrol one day and the next day he's promoted to detective and now he's out working a crime scene with somebody. And he's, that's just the name of the game in law enforcement, just the rotation of people out of there. Yeah, Cat. Yep, that's not normal, leaving his phone behind. I don't agree. Why you leave your phone behind? I tell you why. You don't want it to be traced over to the kennels while you're there during the time of the murders. I love the prosecution. I love Waters, though. So on today's story, the first time anybody in the world is hearing it is this and that. Yeah, Aaron, I agree. He's a used car salesman. He's really good at the gift of the gab. Aaron, family annihilator. Boy, he sure asked him that, didn't he? If he was the family annihilator. Yep. Law dogs. My law dogs. 96 likes. I love it. Yeah, Sander, right? He's known to have his phone on him at that time, except for that evening. Imagine that. It's not even with him. Beautiful day. Good on Paul, exposed who killed him. Deleted messages, lured Maggie. Paul gone. Boat case gone. Maggie gone. He could then refinance the 2 houses, replace $700,000 in stolen fund. They had, that could be the total plan, right? That could be a total. Look at the Daybell case that's coming up with murdering kids and burying them in the backyard. I mean, there's just evil people, man. I met a lot of them, interviewed a lot of them. And why didn't he stop at the kennels on his way to his mom's? And he had passed the road to his kennels on his left to Moselle. 100%, Karen. You're texting, you're calling, no one answers, but you drive right by and you don't swing in there. But he says, it wasn't a big deal. Paul was down there. Paul, right? Wrong answer. If I'm trying to get a hold of my family and I'm texting and calling them and I think they're at the kennels, I'm not driving by them to go 20 minutes into town to see my mother at nighttime who's asleep. I'm going to go down to the kennels and find out what's going on. Yeah, I agree, Kat. Paul became a huge liability. Okay, thanks, Mark. The Hooker video's on YouTube. Appreciate that. I'll go look that up. Leanne, welcome. First timer, welcome to Southern Justice, my friends. When the big daddy is on trial, all bets are off. Either Alex Murdaugh owed a lot of money to loan sharks or Mallory's family could be seeking revenge. All right, Leanne, called it out here. Southern Justice. Yeah, that's, I've never lived in the South. I've lived in North Carolina. I've lived, when I was in the Marines, I was stationed out there. So I lived a little bit on the East Coast, but I never lived in the South. So that could definitely be part of it. It was the crime scene when the murder happened. Yeah, Paw. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's funny how he uses Paw when he gets on trial, but he's never used it in an interview or statement prior to that. 102 likes, guys. Thank you so much. That's awesome. All right. So he is a liar. Big time liar. Can't believe nothing he says. I agree. Well, Stardust, that's the question of the hour. I mean, they know a lot. And if you know a lot, you can't, and you're dead, you can't testify to that. And then you could do a lot of things like people were saying before. You can now, work the property and the wills, and now, Maggie owned one of the properties and that he didn't have access to. And now that she's gone, he has access to that. Circumstantial preponderance of all the evidence, guilty. Miranda's calling it right now. All right. Aaron's calling it. It's Alex. Inside of the murders to get his hands dirty. Ashley, did he hire a relative to do it? A relative, friend, or somebody, Could be. Definitely planned. Definitely planned out. And he wasn't expecting all that data from all of the telemetry and the phone and Paul's cell phone. Wasn't expecting that. Now he's changing his story. If you're innocent of anything and you have no involvement whatsoever, why lie about any of it? Why lie about any of it? Okay, what do we got here? I could buy a drug dealer except two guns. Totally makes me think Alex trying to cover up. Yeah, the two-gun theory, man, that's been the question of the day, right? The guy carries two guns in there. Why carry two guns? Why have a shotgun and a 300 blackout? That's the question. They're saying it's, I think the analyst today was saying it had to be two guns. That's what his evidence is what he's pointing to. Esmeralda, thank you so much for the super chat. Enjoying the take on things. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being there. I hadn't been on here while live with you guys and chat, and so I felt now that I'm done traveling for a little bit that I wanted to hear you guys' take on it, because you guys been watching it too, right? So I value all of your input and what I can share in my insights for you guys. So I appreciate the super chat, Esmeralda. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Carla, as a litigation paralegal, reminder that the prosecution doesn't have to prove motive. Doesn't have to prove motive and opportunity. Most murder convictions are based on circumstantial evidence. Yeah, I think, Carla, what they're just trying to get is, how can he do it? How can he do it? A lot of it, you're right, a lot of it is circumstantial evidence, but a lot of these are, you don't know the person, or they're not a family, but they may be a wife, or they may be a girlfriend or something like that. I think more people can get around that than your son, number one, as a kid, and your wife. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot. I mean, they have a lot of circumstantial on this. Alec, pronounced his name Alec. Yeah. Murdaugh. Yep. All right. If Bubba could talk, I know. My volume is way too low. Okay. Let me see. I'll turn my volume up. Hopefully, Elizabeth, you can let me know later on down in the comments if that helps out, but I just cranked up my gain there for you guys. My brother, super sticker, pure character dancing under a rain of confetti and taking his hat off to say, "You are amazing." Hey man, you're amazing as well. You're making a big, huge difference out there in Oregon, saving a lot of lives and traffic safety. Yeah, you're one of my brothers, man. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for the super sticker as well. Question: what's one thing that sticks out to you in this case? You're a good man, sir. Thank you, Downrage Film. I appreciate it. The thing that sticks out in my mind was the shirt that got screwed up. The shirt that got screwed up with LCV, liquid crystal violet, and turned purple, and then it couldn't go to one expert or another expert, and they couldn't read it. Apparently, it had over 100 spots of high velocity impact spatter on it, which only happens, high velocity mist only happens in two circumstances: a weapon or high-speed machinery. And we know there was no high-speed machinery. So that's the one that stuck out to me. That could have been the dagger that they said, two experts, if you read the affidavit, and I made another video on it, you guys. It's called What Really Happened. No, that's not it. One piece of evidence could change everything. That's on my channel as well. And I talk about the shirt. That's the one thing that really stood out. And then the other thing that stands out is all of the electronic data from the telemetry data, and where the phone is deposited, him getting up to 80 and 80 back. Those little things like that are really sticking out to me as well. Karen, two shooters, Alec and Alec. Hang on a second. There we go. Hope you guys can. I love Josuma. I think his prosecution biased. High profile case, and I don't know much about Judge Newman, but hopefully he's well respected in the area and that he knows what he's doing. All right, Mark. Hooker YouTube video called Sex Traffic Intro to 6 months ago. Just ran an hour long. It's prepared. Okay. Sex Trafficked Intro. All right. Well, we'll have to check that up. Sandra likes that one. All right. Louis or Louise? I'm not really sure. First time here. What state are you in? You're surrounded by crazy. I'm in Las Vegas. After I retired from law enforcement, I moved in and bought a house down here in Las Vegas. Yeah. Oh man, you know what? My wife was saying that too. I love Judge Newman's chair. I mean, that's a cool chair. I mean, that would kind of go up to here on me though, but I do love it. Yeah, not the armpit guy. I know. Magical Mary. Yeah. Sled missed some things here. I think they definitely missed some things here that they didn't talk about. I hate talking bad about law enforcement because I'm retired one of them and I love those guys, but we would go to departments to do reconstructions or something, and we would look at photos, and I would look at photos and go, these photos are crap. Like, I mean, in the digital age, this is crap. And was there measurements done here? No. It's like, damn. And all we can do, if any law enforcement guys are watching this, is just strive to do better. Take what happens on trials like this and go, damn, all right, next time I run into a situation like this, I'm not going to make this mistake. I'm going to cover all of those bases. That's exactly what you do. I remember one of my first DUI trials, I stopped a guy, had no license plate light. I got hammered on the stand for a day about my probable cause for a stop, and the guy blew like a .25 or something. But they hammered me on probable cause. Are you going to believe him? Are you going to believe my client? After that, guess what I did? If I stopped somebody for not having a license plate light out, I took the license plate light and put it into evidence. And I would say, here, the filament's burnt out. Just to prove, but those things that you get grilled on, that just hurt, you learn and you get better. So this is a chance for anybody else in the future watching this too. You always do better, always watch these kind of trials and learn where they're getting hounded, and don't make those mistakes, and make sure you have a solid case. So that's true, Magical Mary. I mean, I think they did a lot of really, really good things in this case, but there's a lot of things they probably could have done. Okay, yeah, we talked about that, Delva. 5'2" sitting in a golf cart. Mm-hmm. Melissa Sadino, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here and joining live. I don't know where you're tuning out in the world, but it's, what is it, 5:53 here in Las Vegas. So I know some of my folks over in the UK, it's like midnight over there. So I appreciate anybody that's here. Hi, Eve. How are you? Welcome. Aaron, interesting side note about Alex pronouncing me Alec. Even though it's a simple thing, he has control over the narrative, the way people see things. Yeah, he is a controller, Aaron. I agree. Melissa, you don't have to say thank you. Your super chat says it all, that you appreciate me being here, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And thanks for all the likes and the thumbs up. I really appreciate those as well. I think YouTube likes them too, that I'm not just wasting your guys' time. The caretaker and the housekeeper. Yeah, the caretaker and the housekeeper, boy, them putting them on the stand, they really have no reason to lie. I mean, they're unemployed now because Alec's not there anymore. So they're super unbiased. They have no dog in the fight. Yeah, Alec looked like he lost a lot of weight. That prison food's not agreeing with him too much, is it? How can he use a long barrel shotgun and a short barrel shotgun? I'm not convinced he did this alone. Listen, there's definitely ways to do that. When I was on SWAT, I mean, we did it with MP5s and handguns. We transitioned from one. We just sling it and transition to a handgun. Two guns, really, if you have one slung and you have a shotgun, you finish that, you toss a shotgun down, you bring the other weapon around, you shoulder fire that or however. So you can actually have one slung and it'll come back around in about a second. So it's actually doable. Or you're John Wick. All right. Alec. It's pronounced Alec. I see you don't know. Yeah, I know. Let's see. Why is someone talking about Stephen Smith, the kid who mysteriously died and Murdaugh swept under the carpet? Stephen Smith, Dixieland Delight, you're going to have to remind me, or you guys remind me who Stephen Smith was. I'm trying to remember who that was. Being a murderer seems very stressful, like buying milkshakes and visiting Paris whenever I want. Being in that cell would be bloody hell. Yeah, it does. Jail's not cool. Jail's not cool. I don't even like bringing people into the jail. And I would have to walk through there and go and do interviews in there, but it's not a fun place to be. Dixie, they don't have enough evidence, sadly. It's a lot of circumstantial, for sure. Let's see. Oh, Caprice, you live in Louisiana. All right. Well, thank you for being here at this time of night. Oh, you think it's supposed to be a homicide-suicide, and he just chickened out and having to kill himself? I don't know. I mean, who knows the story about the guy shooting me in the head? Cousin Eddie said, I wasn't going to shoot him, but we struggled over the gun and it accidentally went off and it kind of grazed him. I mean, there's nothing that these guys, you can't believe anything these guys say. I think Nadia, I think something is missed when you don't understand the culture. I'm West Coast Canadian. I find some of the damn interesting. Yeah, we have some certain interesting dynamics. Nadia, we do have some interesting dynamics here. Yeah, that's just true. Baton Rouge. Oh, Miranda's wanting to know where you're at. Yeah, Paul's phone 100% tripped him up. Dana, 100% tripped him up. He was not ready for like that. I agree. I agree on this, Louise. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. They don't like to kill themselves. They think they can beat anything. They're better than everybody. They're smarter than everybody. And yeah, I could agree with that. Yeah, family the whole thing's a wreck, man. Talk about the shower that he took that his brother noticed. Diana, I don't know about that. I mean, Alec testified that he went and took a shower, but I don't think he mentioned that to any investigator at any time, at any place, anywhere. He said he also said the last time he saw his family was at dinner. So I don't know. I think the investigator went and looked at the shower, but I'm not sure if they did anything. Yeah, Michelle. Yeah. He apologized for them lying. Thanks for the likes, guys. Appreciate it. This murder is definitely a murder. There we go. Yeah, that's another thing, Karen, you bring up. Why was he making so many phone calls at the crime scene? He was walking back and forth between the bodies. Unbelievable. Yeah, Karen, not only that, but do you guys remember that when he said he woke up from his nap, that he took 231 steps and made dozens of phone calls. Like when you wake up, he says, and then he said, I was getting ready to go see my mother. And it's like the couch is by the front door. If you wake up and your phone is there, he said, I don't know if my phone was. Nobody's laying down without their phone next to them, whether they're in bed or they're on a charger or something, or around them somewhere. But that he just has to take 15 steps out the front door to go see his mother. Why take 231 steps around a house? That makes no sense at all. And then you're making multiple calls that you later delete. That doesn't make sense either. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. Yeah, Caprice. Cousin Hattie's not a good shot. If he definitely missed, for sure. All right. If he wanted to find out who did it, he wouldn't have lied about being there at 8:44. He wanted to help them find the murderer. I agree, Aaron. There was nothing about that, right? Nothing about helping him find anybody. Leanne, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for your clear, concise outlook. Hospice nurse may be my patient's first. We love y'all. Yo, I appreciate that, Leanne. I had been to Montana. Montana's beautiful. What I didn't know about Montana was you guys have so many rattlesnakes there. It's like the number 2 or 3 capital for rattlesnakes. I got a great rattlesnake story, but I'm sure you've heard them all. But I didn't realize that. But Montana's beautiful. And I love Montana back. Appreciate that. And that wears me out about this case is the witness listening to every other witness testify. No wonder the defense witness had answers for everything. You know what, Beach Bree, I agree. I don't know how many trials I were in that I would go to walk in the courthouse and there was a sign on the door that says witnesses excluded. So I would literally sit on the bench outside with my report, waiting to be called. Somebody would walk out. Okay, you're next on the stand. I'd literally walk straight in and right up on the stand. And I didn't know anything that was being testified to. So there you go. Yeah, you have to cover your behind for sure. Have ever been questioned about not to ask questions about someone powerful in the community during looking into a case? No, I haven't, Aaron, been questioned about that. But I've been involved in cases where other law enforcement officers may have been driving drunk, and those are bad situations at a neighboring agency that is a certain rank, and now they're involved either domestic or DUI, and those are uncomfortable. But the thing is, you have to have integrity and you have to do your job, even though it hurts. You have to notify the chain of command that this is happening because the bosses from their agency are going to find out. So you notify your bosses, and then you just do your job. Because listen, once you lose your integrity and your honesty, you're done in this job. You're done on the stand. You're done. If you don't know something, you tell them you don't know. If you made a mistake, you tell them you make a mistake. Because we're all human, right? You just got to admit those. But the moment you try to lie, it's no good at all. Oh, downrange, man. I appreciate you being here. 2 a.m. in London. I knew I had London people here. Yes, love it. First time live. Amber, so welcome to the first time live. Oh, Stephanie recommended me. I love Stephanie. She's great. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, my name is John. I'm not John Wick, but I was on SWAT. But I don't do the things John Wick does. Thank you. Yeah, I'm enjoying my coffee with my Central Perk Friends mug. Lewis, what state did you work in law enforcement? I worked in the state of Oregon for a sheriff's department, Clackamas County Sheriff's Office, over there near Mount Hood area. That's where I worked. I worked at Seaside Police when I first started out. When I got out of the Marines, I worked over there. But I got tired of the rain. I wanted to come where there's sunshine. Let's see from the HBO. Oh, HBO. Yeah, is there an HBO special? I don't know why my comments keep going small. So weird. Oh, Janice. Well, hey. Hometown. All right. I'm up in Summerlin area. I love it up this way. Okay, Todd. The dad shot his wife and one of the kids and burnt the house down. Oh, okay. Got you. Oh yeah, they found the knife directly from Alex. Yeah, man, there are just so many new things in the last 2 days, or since Friday that they came up with that Alex just decided to tell people. Okay, Caprice, you talked about the shower today. I didn't see all the testimony today. I did see him say something about a shower, but I wasn't exactly sure. What I heard from John was that he helped law enforcement kind of go everywhere, and that he's the one that actually located her cell phone, and that took people out to find Maggie's cell phone. Oh, you want to know if the bullet was grazed? Exactly what he wanted. You'd have to really rest it on there and pull it and hope you don't jerk the trigger. Jerk the trigger, it's all over. But even the witness that saw that when he was waving down thought he looked sketchy, like it was planned. And then he has a run flat tire with a knife in the side of it. Right? So he's an idiot. He lies about lying. 100% downrange. He lies about lying. By the way, this is about, Miranda. All right. This is one of the best times for lives. Okay. I appreciate that. I really didn't know. I mean, I did a poll a while ago, but then I had a lot of people there in the UK. I feel sorry, that it's the middle of the night for them. And I try not to step on other creators that may be doing some stuff at live that you guys may want to hang out to. So I appreciate that. Denise, I'm so torn to see this guy. Definitely he knows something and definitely believed he's involved, but I don't believe he was alone. Denise, a lot of people are saying that. You're not the only one in the stream, exactly, and even online they're talking about he may be accompanied by somebody else. It's not outside the norm. I don't think there's any evidence pointing to that, especially now that Alex said there's no other, the dogs weren't barking because there's no one he didn't know there. So Alec put that out there. There's no one else there. So this means he's there, or the dogs knew someone else that was there because he's been there before. I even heard the conspiracy theory that Maggie said, instead of saying right before she's like, it's a chicken, she said, Eddie, it's a chicken. That was on court TV. That some people thought she said, Eddie, it's a chicken. And then they tried to slow it down. And so that was even one of the things that came up. So, oh, Miranda says it's not allowed in Texas, listening to others testify, at least not in court. Well, I know in Oregon they frown upon that for sure when I was in trial. Nadia, I agree. I agree that they can just sit in there and listen to all that. But I guess, Alec can sit in there and listen to it because he's the one on trial, right? So they're not going to exclude the actual defendant, but the witnesses that are going to testify, I would think, because they had Kinsey sitting right behind the prosecution table when the other experts were testifying. So now he's heard what they had to say, and he's going to go in there and now be a rebuttal witness, I'm sure, either him or somebody else. And they may have something up. Listen, they may have something up their sleeve, the state. There was a guy that in the affidavit I talk about in one of my other videos, Tom Bevel, who's a world-renowned guy. They may call him. And Bevel's the one that said he saw the blood spatter, high-velocity mist on the shirt that with photo. I don't know if they'll call him or not, but who knows what they're going to do for rebuttal. It's not allowed in Tennessee either. Okay, Ellen. Or Mississippi. Good to know. All right. Stephanie Harlow. Yes. Her and I should do something together. Should do some kind of joint stream. Hey, Crafty, welcome. I hope you're still here. I'm still trying to scroll down the comments of Crafty. Thank you for being here on your first live stream, and thank you for the thumbs up, guys. Really appreciate that. Invoking the rule, and she calls it invoking the rule. Prevents witnesses from listening to testimony. Yeah, it's a pretty good advantage if you're going last because you heard everything before that. But the two experts that they had testifying today, he just went to the scene Friday, and he probably just got the reports a week ago to come in. So this guy's behind the eight ball. Music is magic, from what I understand. If the judge whether or not a witness can sit in a court, I can't remember the legal name for it. Can't believe any judge will allow this and why. Yeah, maybe in South Carolina that's just normal for them to do that. I don't know. Do you think Alec taking the stand? Wait. Oh, if this question for everybody, do you think taking the stand hurt Alec or helped him? So Caroline thinks it hurt him. Miranda's like, I think it helped him. Oh yes, Emily's great. I've met Emily before at a conference before. She's great. You're torn. Mm-hmm. Harpooning Jim Griffiths, laughable. Harpooning wanted to get his two experts in between prosecution. I know. Witnesses can't listen to testimony in Tennessee. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it hurt him or helped him? Yes, Alan, there's plenty of sunshine in Las Vegas, but it's raining right now. It's raining outside, which we need it here. And it fills up the lakes out here, which I don't mind if it rains here. It only rains here a little bit at a time. Yeah, Leanne. Not many people change their own tire. He probably doesn't even know how to change his own tire. But I know who does know how to change tires. People in Montana, people in Oregon. People know where their tires are and their tire tool and their jack and all that stuff is. I know that for a fact. Lou, super chat. Thank you so much, man. $10. Thank you for what you do, bro. I appreciate you, Lou. Man, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you being here and listening in. And it means a lot that you guys are here. State needs to seal the deal tomorrow. That's going to have to be, they're going to have to bring the heavy hitters. 4 or 5 witnesses are going to do for rebuttal. I think the defense rested their case, right? I believe. I'm pretty sure. If you stab your own tire. Yeah. Stephanie and Derek's podcast from Crime Weekly. Well, I don't know. That'd be fun to do. Let's see. Yes, I heard there were 2 jurors crying when he gave his testimony. This is unconfirmed. No, I think downrange it is more confirmed than you know, because I want to say somebody that was in the court from Court TV said there were 2 jurors crying, and they were both female jurors, is what he said, because he was inside the courtroom. So I think that is more confirmed than you know. KCL says, hurt and helped him, ultimately him under the murder scene about 3 minutes of the murder. So hurt was greater than help, in my humble opinion. I think he painted himself, KCL, in such a corner that he just had to go out there and testify and try to humanize it a little bit. What else is he going to do? Just to go on there and go, I got to get ahead of this. I got to say I'm a liar. And they just, because the state already had their plan in place, they just kept stacking onto it. Did you look him in the face? Did you lie? Did you lie? Did you lie? Did you lie? So if Alec thought he was just going to get on there and say, yeah, I was at the kennels, I'm sorry, I'm a liar. Next question. Well, no, that was 6 hours later. They're still going to beat the hell out of you because of that. And I think Waters did a good job with his, on your news story. Okay, so not on your old story, on your news story today that everybody's just hearing for the first time, now that you've seen all the evidence for the past 5 weeks, your news story today, after seeing all that, is now this. Now you've adapted to a news story. So I think the jury really picked up on that, and they're going to hear. I think they felt that. Miranda, it did catch you in a lot more lies. Here's the tears, and there was an expert on that does body language, and he was talking about Alec crying. And one of the things he pointed out was that there's a chin movement when people cry. And I'm going to try to imitate it right now, so don't laugh at me, but he's like, and that's involuntary when you're really crying. None of that happened when Alec was testifying. So there's some telltale signs that this guy was saying, and he's an expert in that. That's not real. That's crying. It may be crying because your son is dead, and now you're drumming up memories of you and your son, and you're able to do that. But it's not heartfelt. He doesn't think. So, all right, Lewis Release is asking a question. Do you think the state provided their case with evidence? I think they presented all they could that they could get their hands on and present what SLED did. I think they probably had a lot more stuff they could have presented that was not maybe done correctly on the state side. A lot of stuff that wasn't provided. A 2-scale diagram, a reconstruction with Faro data, with 3D imaging, that kind of stuff could have been provided. The crime scene probably could have been preserved a little more. Photographs. I mean, there was the photograph of the tire mark on the back of Maggie's leg. That was kind of photographed from an angle instead of 90 degrees with a scale. Things like that shortcuts were done. I think hurt the case because they wanted to throw that in there, but then they got beat up on it. So I think they presented as much as they could with what they had. So I hope that answers your question. Hi, Lynn. Welcome. Glad you are here. Karen says that Alec was never regretful for leaving his family by the kennels to die alone. No, I don't think he really even said much about that. I guess I should have been there. I mean, he can't get a hold of his wife and his son. I don't know if he texted Paul, but he texted his wife and called his wife. No answer, so he just goes and drives right by where he thinks they are and said it's no big deal. Sometimes they don't answer because they're together. But if you're trying to get a hold of somebody and they're 1,000 feet away, why not go down and say, hey, I was trying to get a hold of you. I just want to let you know I'm running to my mom's house. Why not do that? But he's a liar. So that's what there is. Aaron thinks there's a number of reasons they could have been crying. They've seen graphic evidence and they're invested in this. I cry listening to stuff that's upsetting. Yeah, this guy is good. This guy, Lois. Okay, Lois is pronounced Lois. Okay, thanks, Delva. Louis Armstrong. I was his name spelled Lois, so I always, it's like there and there. All right, Lois, like Lois Lane. Got it. I think that the Snapchat video and the time phones were silent, plus Alex testimony could be enough. Yeah, that's the time of death. I mean, they're trying to put the time of death, they don't want that timeline where Alec was there. They want the timeline later to be like 9 o'clock maybe, when Alec was already driving down to mom's and coming back. They want that timeline. But we have digital evidence that's putting that timeline a whole lot different, because we know that Paul was on his phone the entire time, all the time. Plugging it into a charger, unplugging it, plugging it in. So 2%, 3%, always massaging that battery power. And then he just goes dead forever. So I think they got a pretty good job with the digital stuff about a timeline. Amber, what do you think about taking temperature by armpit? I don't agree with that at all. All the scenes that I've done, and I worked, ran our major, our crime reconstruction forensic team, but we also did every fatal. So we would go on every fatal crash that happened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that are dead. We could kind of determine time of death on that based on a crash, but sometimes they would be cold, and by the time the medical examiner got out there, something else happened. So so I don't agree with the armpit method at all. There is other ways to determine that, liver temperature, rectal temperature, lividity, those kind of things, blood pooling, so on and so forth. There's all those different factors that can be done versus putting your hands under their armpits. With circumstantial evidence, yes. There's a lot of experts out there that are saying that he's guilty. That the circumstantial is going to put him there. Okay, Nadia, thank you. I appreciate that you tagged me on Twitter. Those of you that don't know my Twitter, go follow me on Twitter. I'd love to have you over there. In case you didn't see that, because it's kind of fast. I appreciate that. I'm also on Instagram too. If you guys follow me over there, appreciate it. Let's see what else. Yeah, the armpit was shameful. That was not good. Delva, guy needs to retire. I agree. You're welcome, Lynn. I can't believe he's going to get away with murder downright. A lot of people are saying that too, that, it'll be a mistrial, that one person is going to say no. Brazil, Patricia, you are a trooper being here at 11 or 23:15 a.m. What does that mean? 23:15, that's military time. 23:15 is like 11:15 p.m. Maybe that's something different in Brazil. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to learn something. I love learning new stuff. Karen wants to know, who do I think the state will call tomorrow? They're going to call some rebuttals. I don't think they're going to do any more financial crap, right? I think it's all got to be forensic stuff. I think it's going to be pathology and forensics, angles, trajectories, those kind of things. I think they're gonna focus on tomorrow. I could be wrong, but that's what my guts tell me. All right, Leanne, they should have split the financial murder cases. He's already going to serve time for stealing. State needed more evidence regarding murders to seal the deal. It's all about the motive. I think they're just trying to hammer the motive down is what they're trying to do. Is like, here's everything about the motive. Here's all the bad stuff. And then he was too deep and he had to do something, and he's a druggie and he did it. Even if you're on drugs, it doesn't mean you can still murder people, right? Denise, thank you so much for the super chat. So now that he confessed all the financials on the stand, does the state have to prosecute those indictments? Denise, yes, I believe they will prosecute all of those indictments. If he's found guilty for murder, he still has these pending charges, right? He's still got all of those, that those need to be cleared up. So he'll probably, more than likely, Denise, he'll probably take a plea deal on that and not go to trial on all those. But he's a narcissist, so he may like the camera. He may want to go right back in and try to say he's not guilty. But he's already said, he's already admitted to everything. So I think it's a moot point at this point. But Yeah, they'll probably tack that on indictment and roll it in. He'll never see the light of day again, forever. So it's a great question. Yeah, I know his mind I work armpit guy. You guys crack me up that you need to call him the armpit guy. So, all right, KCL thinks the prosecutor's going to go that he's a family annihilator. I mean, he asked the question. I think it's probably going to be in the closing arguments for sure. He lied about being at the kennels this whole time. You would think he wouldn't lie about the last time he saw his wife and son alive. Well, I know. He has a timeline. He has a timeline all put together, right? It's in his mind. It's planned out. I got the timeline. I got everything down. The video blew it up. That blew the timeline out, and now he's doing a backpedal. Lynn wants to know, Johnny, do you think that Alec never thought Sled would be involved, as he thought it would be a closed case because of his stature? I don't think so, Lynn. I think he knew they were going to be involved. I think it's a double murder. There's no way they're not going to be involved. He was friends with a lot of them. He had blue lights. He had a badge. He was pushing his way around on different scenes. He knows all these guys. So maybe he thought that they wouldn't do a great job, but he knew Sled was going to be involved. I wish that Sled would have. There's a couple things I think they miss and could have done a better job helping the prosecution out. Call me a Facebook and YouTube. That's okay. I don't blame you if you can only handle a couple things, Facebook and YouTube. I'm on Facebook as well under Johnny Law 50 if you want to just follow me over there. Let's see. Okay, I think Alec testifying helped tie together the prosecution's case. He advertently wove together a narrative which state was lacking up until that point. Okay, that's a valid point. Okay, that's a valid point. He, when he takes a stand, it's fair game at that point. And I mean, the state. I think there was one coverage that when he was standing up saying he was going to testify, you could see Waters in the background, and he had his glasses on, and he did one of these. Like, okay, game on. That's how I read it. It's like, okay, game on, let's go. Ban on the coroner system and go to the medical examiner. Yeah, they got to have a little more training than just being voted in there. I mean, you got to have some more training than that if you're just going to be determining time of death, because that's super important, especially in this case. Super, super important. Did they find blood in the drains? Amber, I want to say they looked in the shower, looked at the drains, but I want to say that the defense asked one of the Sled investigators, did they pull the P-trap? Did they look for anything in the actual P-trap below? Obviously, you're not going to be able to get it in the shower P-trap because it's below the concrete, unless it's on the second stir, but then you got to cut into the drywall and get stuff out of there. But sinks, you can obviously take the P-trap under there and pull it out. But I believe they said no, they didn't. So, Triple S's life in jail. Yeah, financials, for sure. Anna, did he run over her leg? I'm assuming, Anna, you are talking about the golf cart. I think the coroner or the pathologist said that there was no evidence. She saw that she was run over. It was just a tire imprint from that tire, which the defense kind of went on Kinsey about that. Well, could it be any tire? Are you sure it's this tire? And he's like, this exact tire, or one exactly like it caused this injury pattern to her leg. So that's a pretty big statement. But there's no evidence that I saw that he ran over her leg. Yeah, I mean, I think Lynn, what you're talking to Amber about, they didn't do any of that. Like, here's the thing. It was so strange that they had all this consent, but instead of the night of the murders going, hey, can we go search your house? Get 2-3 detectives. Where did you go? Went to your mom's house? All right, if I was a supervisor, and I hate money quarterback, but I can imagine myself going, all right, I need 2 people, sign this consent form. Can we go to your mother's house? You're her caregiver. Yeah, you have full authority. Yeah, you have You have full authority to do whatever in the house. Yes, I need you to sign this consent form. We're going to go search that house. And they go search the house. And they photograph everything in the house. A lot of the stuff they're not going to know about, but the photographs they can go back on, especially after they get his statement. But I don't think they went to the house for like a week and then back to Alex for another week or two or something like that. So it was the time frame was a long time away. And they're saying he wasn't a suspect at that time, but they're saying no one's in danger of a double murder suspect. The public's not in danger. So a lot of things were kind of weird. 130 milligram pills of oxy. That's that's a lot of drugs. $56,000 a week's a lot of money too. I don't buy that at all either. I think he's saying that to just say he had all this, but there's no evidence of that, right? Because these are all illegal Oxycontin. So who knows whether he's taken that much at all, because he's a big fat liar. Okay. KCL. Alex seemed to function just fine as an attorney on opioids, so don't buy this lie to sled about not being out at the kennels, even though his brothers say he lied about that to him. Yeah, he's making deals. He's doing awards. 10 years he said he's on this stuff, right? But he's making cases. He's making millions. He's doing just fine. Except this night, he was, on drugs, and he wasn't in his right mind. Do you think let's see, Karen, do you think bloody clothes and the guns are in a grave of handsome Murdaugh? I think they're gone. I think he probably had a good opportunity to get rid of them. I don't think he's going to leave them on the property that could be searched in the tree line there. Listen, this guy had 1,700 acres, right? So, let's say this. Let's say he goes to the kennels, he commits some murders, his cell phone is at the house, and he takes the golf cart, and he's got the weapons and the clothes or whatever, and he takes it out to the 1,700 acres, and he drives 15 minutes away, and it's 1,700, and he buries him out there, and he drives 15 minutes back to the house. No one, but then again, has him living at 906, so he can't be driving that far away. So, he's got 1,700 acres. He could have passed him off to somebody, or he could have, at the mom's house, he could have passed him off to somebody in the tree line because he was stopped for a minute. So I think there's some opportunity for him to ditch stuff, but they're definitely gone or buried. Yeah, for sure. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, and Anna, I agree that the son had him on Snapchat and he didn't even know it. And man, Paul, unbelievable. I bet Maggie backed up into the tire on the SUV side by side before she was shot and killed. They said it didn't appear she was run over. Yeah, 100%. Why? That would totally make sense that she backed up against that if that was where it came to rest and where he said it was. Now, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember how he said he got back up to the house. I think he said he took the golf cart back up to the house, but then when he came, where he said he wasn't at the kennels, but he really was. He took the golf cart and went back to the house. But then she would have had to back into that, and then he would have had to take the golf cart back up to the house. Yeah. I don't know. So he doesn't care about being called a thief, but he's trying to save his reputation of buster, but not being a murderer. I agree, Leanne. I agree. He doesn't want that. This is a challenge to him. He's a narcissist. Oh, yeah, I agree, Aaron. He was like, let's get it going. Yeah, I agree, Lynn. That was his angels coming. Snapshot for angels. How did somebody work it all taking that much Oxycontin? I don't know. I don't know. Listen, I arrested a gal that did so much. She sold her house. She snorted $250,000 worth of cocaine up her nose, and the whole inside of her nose was gone. And it was just a skin flap in the front, but the entire septum underneath was one big hole from all of the coke that she snorted. It was disgusting. And the entire time she just went, the entire time I was interviewing her, it was disgusting. So I don't know what oxy does to your gut, but I can imagine it's not good. Symphony. I don't feel like the prosecution has proven anything. Too many questions still. I think they've proven he's a liar. I think they've proven his route, his timeline, his steps, his agitation, things that, if you're thinking about, hey, I just went up and I said I'm laying down, but then all of a sudden I get up and take 231 steps and I call 15 people all of a sudden, and then I jam out of there and I go 45 miles an hour, and then right where Maggie's phone is, right past that point, I go 80, and then I go 80 miles an hour back. I think they proved a lot of those kind of things. The jury's going to go, why the hell would he do that? He's involved. So, we're going to find out. We're going to find out soon enough. What do I think about the two-shooter theory? Laura, that's okay if you're catching up. And we've been on here for a little while. Thanks for all the likes, guys. Appreciate it. I think the defense is trying to show that there's two shooters. I don't think there's any evidence to prove that. When all of my trainings, we had shotguns and AR-15s at the sheriff's office, and we would always practice with the shotgun here. And we come up with the shotgun, bam, 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 sling it, go to our handgun and transition to another gun. Not to say you can't start out with a shotgun, do some damage, toss that down, go to the other weapon, and then fire, and then pick the other one up and get the heck out of there. So you can definitely do two of that. The casings are right there in the entryway around her body. So if it is two shooters, they're right next to each other. But you can definitely, one guy can do it with two guns. I'm confident of that. We just don't know. Could it be two shooters? Maybe. And we're going to have to show that it wasn't. Unless Alec rolls over. Is it normal for family members to be following detectives around the house? John Marr followed them around the house. So Karen, is it normal for them to follow them around the house? So I would only say this, is that if someone's given consent, they can revoke that consent at any time. So we always had to have them present enough for them to say, stop searching. Now, it doesn't mean they necessarily have to follow you around. You could just say, why don't you wait out here while I do a search? If you need me, come, yell at me and I'll come out to you. But necessarily they don't have to be following them around. So, but they do have to be able to recant or rescind their consent, if that answers your question. But it's a very good question. Let's see. If someone who has spent full summers in Visa, that drug number is impossible. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And I've been around a lot of drug people a lot, and that's a lot. $50,000 a week for pills. That's a lot. I think that's overindulgence on his part. There's no evidence of that, I don't think. Aaron, Laura Lee, Bubba, the dog was shooter number 1. The chicken was shooter number 2. Yeah, you heard, Aaron, you heard earlier, some people were saying they thought they heard her say Eddie. Eddie's got a chicken. So, I don't know. Yeah, 50,000 cash in a week. I don't know. Well, he's swindling millions, and so 50 grand. If you swindle $1 million out of somebody, that'll go quite a ways. And I think they've already proven he's done that quite a bit. I don't think it was 2 shooters. I think Alec planned to use 2 guns to throw them off. Said there was one all around the kennels. Dog didn't seem disturbed by an outsider. Paul had arms down. 100%. He could definitely have gun. There was always guns down there. He could have positioned a 300 blackout right inside there. And he didn't actually necessarily have to have them on him, but just have them available. So when she came around the corner, he picked up the long rifle before she could get to him. Took care of business. Yeah, he sure did, Lynn. Lynn says, yeah, I ruined the family legacy. He surely did that, 100%. He is heartless and evil, Sandra. I agree. And he's a monster and a drug addict as well. You know what, Lynn? That's a good question. I wonder why he threw Mag's phone out, but not Paul. That's a good question. My wife even asked that today. She's like, why would you think he wouldn't grab Paul's phone? Now, he testifies that when he rolled Paul over, the phone came out and that he put it back on him. But I don't know why he wouldn't take both of the phones. I don't know. Crazy people, in the heat of the moment do weird things. So who's to say why people do what they do? Well, I know you guys, some of you that are in the UK and on the East Coast are like getting tired. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this stream off. We've got Leanne's got another question here. This trailer has jumpstarted my love life. Every time I mention ballistics or trajectory, My gun gets a big grin on his face. I can only imagine, Leah. I can only imagine, Leanne. One more question here, Karen. Couldn't remember what. Remember that he changed his clothes. He couldn't remember that he showered. He couldn't remember that he was down at the kennels until all the evidence proved it. 100%, Karen. He didn't remember doing any of this, and he never told law enforcement any of this about his exact thing that he did until they found the clothes that he wasn't wearing, and no one's found those clothes yet. So, or even asked for them, which is another whole deal why they haven't done that. Lynn, if I watched the Netflix on Murdaugh, yeah, you know what? I think I did watch it, and I want to say they released that like months ago, and I watched it, and I was thinking it's either this one or the Daybell case, where I was like, why the hell would they release this before even a trial come up? It was either that one or this one, but if it was the Daybell one, I hadn't seen the Murdaugh one because I know that's coming up on Netflix. But anybody, all right, guys, thank you so much, Nadia, everybody, KCL, Downreach Films, thanks for being here. Janet Dozen, Denise, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you hanging out with me on this Monday night, and I will see you guys in the next video that I make. And obviously leave a comment on something you guys want me to produce, or a case you want me to look into. I'm always up for comments like that. Thank you, Montana. We love you, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.